Hello, I guess we're going live. It's it's that coffee break time. So give me a second. Let me get all of my platforms going. Okay, Instagram is getting ready to come up. But welcome to another G Spot experience with your girl Germaine coffee break. And today's brew is from survival to strategy. So I'm gonna give it a moment because what I decided to do today that's been different from all the other lives, I posted I posted an actual ad to just inform everyone that wanted to join in the coffee break, that we will be going live at a specific time. Now, normally I do the lives in the morning Eastern Standard Time between 10 and 11, but the reason, like I stated early on, I never wanted to give an actual time to show up consistently at that time is because I didn't want to fail. This was already hard enough for me to say I'm going to commit to doing this 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And so my schedule is so all over the place sometimes. And I say that in a positive way, but I didn't want to lock myself in committing to every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time because sometimes I may have meetings I have to take. But we're here. It is a late coffee break, and but we're here. Consistency is the biggest thing that I'm working on. And so far for the past 3 weeks, I've been showing up. But okay, so we may have more people chiming in. But right now, Alan Mitchell, thank you so much for joining us, and being a part of this live. And so what I'm going to do, because I like to keep the coffee breaks between 5, 10, and 15 minutes because people may be at work and they may be sneaking away, but let's get into it. And for those that are going to join, they'll join in. All right, so today's brew is from survival to strategy. And every so often you may see me like looking over at my notes, which is right next to my screen, but I want to make sure I'm giving you all the information. I don't want to leave anything out because these coffee breaks have been so good, even to me being able to be the first partaker of them as I'm sipping. Today, I'm drinking water. I have my water today because it is a little later in the day. And so hey, Jesse, good to have you back. And so I am going to get in it. So, you know how we do, we take a pause and we pour into purpose. So, let's get into from survival to strategy. If anything resonates with you, please make sure you just put something in the comments so that we can share with the community. I would love to hear your feedback on it, your stories. If anything has triggered a story that you may have experienced that you want to share, then let's talk about it. Okay. So let's talk about from survival to strategy. So today we're going to shift gears a little and from surviving life to strategically living it. How many of you out there are just surviving? Really, when you think about it, day to day, how many out there are just surviving life and allowing life to take control of you, but you're not living your full life, because the weight of and the pressures of life can really take toll. And next thing you know, you find yourself in a cycle or just constantly on this wheel, spinning, 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 feeling out of control. But hopefully, this message will resonate with you today that will allow you to be able to shift and to become strategic about living life, okay? And not just surviving life. So, for some of us, um, we've been conditioned. We've been conditioned to grind, to push and press without pause because survival was all we knew. Is that you? Are you someone that survival is all that you knew? And so you just get into this cycle and this routine, and every day it's the same thing. I get up, I do the same thing I did yesterday, trying to meet that need, trying to get to that goal. And next thing you know, you find out that, whoa, What has happened to my life? And time is not slowing up for no one. We're already coming to the end of a month. I feel like it just started last week. So pay attention to life and what's happening so you don't miss out on it and you don't find yourself just surviving it and not strategically living it. But let me finish with this. Let me finish getting into the content, okay? Um, but survival mode isn't meant to be permanent. Nope, it's not meant to be permanent. So when you think about it, how many out there has made survival mode permanent in their life? And literally, it has become your life. Every day, just surviving. Every day, just surviving. With that, you're missing out on your purpose, and what you're really meant to be on this earth for. So be careful because survival, just surviving, can snatch and rob you of true purpose in life. So let me go through a few points that hopefully will help. Now it's the time to break the cycle. Now is the time. It's never too late. So today, if you're someone that's going through that, and I have to be honest, we're all guilty of it. I know I am. I am. Sometimes I can get into a place and it's like I use the term I have to come from up under my computer because as a publisher, I spend a lot of time working on my computer. And next thing you know, it's like walls are closing in and it's like I haven't been outside in days, but because I'm in that grind, right, trying to help birth out one story to bring it to the world. But sometimes I have to pause and take a break, and I had one of those moments last week. I said, and actually I talked about it in a coffee break, but I had a burnout week, because deadlines are real, grinding is real, but at the end of the day, don't let it rob you of life, because if you're not careful, you'll find yourself in that cycle and in that way. So today, it's time to break the cycle. Now it's time to build legacy on purpose. Remember, I said if you're not careful, just surviving life could rob you of your purpose. So you want to build, take a moment to pause and just say, what am I building here? What do I want my legacy to be? And really begin to look at that. And so um you don't want to get sidetracked because it's so easy, and you find that, oh my gosh, I woke up this morning and it's like X amount of years later, where has my life gone and what have I really accomplished? I spent all this time in this job and I knew this just wasn't a right fit for me, but I decided to stay because in all reality, bills have to be paid and life is happening, and you get so comfortable and complacent. Whereas you look up and it's like, I've been here 10 years. What has happened? But you still have that thing gnawing on the inside saying, I got to get this out of me. I got to get to this place so I can be at one with purpose, with destiny. So, just some things to think about. And then another one, we're talking about moving from a reaction to intentional actions. Just let that marinate, let it brew for a few minutes. Okay, moving from a reaction to intentional actions, being intentional about the things you want to accomplish, the things you see happening. And so, once again, am I in survival mode, or have I already have I already pivoted to strategy? That's a question for you to ask. I have to ask myself the same question. Where am I present day in my life? Am I just surviving, or have I started to pivot, make the turn to be able to be in strategic, intentional planning and action, whereas I am living life and not just surviving through life? So we're all guilty of it. Listen, for those that have survived being in survival mode and now they're in the life of strategic living, please hit us up. Tell us your secret, okay? Because life is lifing. All right. And so, just a few more things before we wrap this coffee break up. What mindsets did you inherit that no longer served you? These are questions that I'm leaving with you, okay, to really think about. Um, what language are you speaking that keeps you stuck? That's a big one. What language are you speaking that keeps you stuck? Because life and death is in the power of the tongue. So watch those things that come out of your mouth, because you could be putting yourself um, in a worse place opposed to freeing yourself. Okay. And what plans are you making that pour into generations, not just days? Generations, not just present day. Okay. So think about those three questions. I'll run through them really quickly again. So if you didn't write them down, you could jot them down, or you could just play this back, right? What mindset did you inherit that no longer serves you? What language are you speaking that keeps you stuck and not able to pivot to purpose? Okay. What plans are you making that pour into generations, not just days? Okay. I'm going to leave those with you so you can let that brew, let it marinate, stir it up. And as you really take a pause, really think over those things to see where you are present day. Where do you want to see yourself at? And so, thanks to Neria. That's a good point, she said. Thanks a lot. So, in closing, coming to an end, because there's a lot to think about, and I really want to leave this. But the good thing is, you can always play this back on any one of my platforms, from my YouTube to my Facebook to my Instagram, LinkedIn, whichever platform you are viewing this on. And so, this coffee break is your permission slip to stop merely surviving and start building, because healing doesn't stop with you, it starts with you. So just sip slow, plan bold, and heal forward. I hope that something resonated with you in this coffee break, just thinking about from survival to strategy, and how that may show up in your life and where you want to see your life go. And hey, hit me up, leave comments. Even after the live, you can still leave comments. If anyone that's listening and you're interested in coming and having a coffee break with me in studio, just let me know so we could talk about it and we could talk to the community together. But I appreciate you all so much for showing up, taking time out of your day to just tune in and have coffee with me, tea, water, juice, smoothies, whatever you're drinking. And so, what I am going to do moving forward, I'm going to put out a post. I'm going to now start being consistent with putting out a post before the live so people have an opportunity to join in. So, thank you once again. And I will see you tomorrow on the G Spot Experience with Germaine Coffee Break. Thanks, Tenaria. Another good word for today. I appreciate you all so much in your comments. Have a great one. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.